Live from News Channel 8, this is Toyota Sports Talk.
It's been an auspicious start to Skins training camp. Key injuries and oppressive heat. And guess who's the latest casualty? Tonight on Sports Talk, we're focused on both of DC Burgundy and Gold football teams. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Toyota Sports Talk. I'm Scott Abraham. Thanks for starting your weekend with us. In a little while, we'll hear from two members of the DC Divas who are champions once again. Meanwhile, in Richmond, the competition heats up literally and figuratively when the Skins put on the pads tomorrow. And while most eyes will be on the young draft picks competing for roster spots, one veteran will draw attention with his return. Number 2, D'Angelo Hall, knows about season-ending injuries, but he's been roaming through the drills in the defensive backfield with reckless abandon at his new position. Our Aaron Hawksworth caught up with the former Hokie, now entering his 13th NFL season.
I feel good. Yeah. This position I've always wanted to play, so I kind of just threw myself into it, this offseason more so than I did last year. Last year was real kind of gimmicky. If it was man, I went and covered tight ends and, and receivers. If it was 3 deep, I got in the middle of the field. This year I'm actually playing my position where I'm asked to do anything, and so it's been fun. It's been absolutely fun. It's been invigorating.
Making that transition, when did you know, at what point in your career did you think, I do want to switch to safety?
Oh my gosh. I mean, my second, third year, I was kind of looking at Ed Reed
how can
and, Seawood make the transition, and watching these guys, I was just like, man, safety seems so fun. Even watching the safeties I played with, it just seemed so fun.
And is it fun?
Oh, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of responsibility, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Corner is such a grind. It's such a sport or a position where every inch matters, you know what I mean? And back when I was running 4.2, 4.1 40s, I could get away with making a mistake and using my speed to make up. But as I've gotten a little older, it's kind of like, you got to be attention to detail, more of a technician. And so I always tell people towards the end of my career, I was still a good corner, wasn't a great corner, but I felt like I was a great football player. I understood football, and I think safety is one of those positions where you need football players, and I consider myself a great football player.
All right, a healthy D. Hall could mean a more effective pass rush even without Junior Galette in the lineup. Another name out of the lineup at camp is top draft pick Josh Dachshund, who's nursing an Achilles injury, and that news upset a lot of folks in the Redskins camp, especially general manager Scott McCloughan. Look at this, who admitted he punched the wall in frustration over that news about Dachshund. And as you can see, he's got that left paw all bandaged up. No broken bones to report for Scott. Let's hope that's not his check writing hand and that the news gets better about Josh as camp progresses. Well, let's take a phone call right now. Let's hit the phone lines. Spencer from Oxon Hill. Happy Friday, my friend. The Redskins training camp. What do you want to talk about tonight?
Oh, man, it don't look like things are sounding good for the Skins, man. These injuries and things. I'm just hoping that they get their injuries and people that are healthy sorted, because they're going to have a tough season ahead of them. And I'm concerned about the good players that they have, like D. Hall, Kerrigan, Jordan Reed. I hope all of the good players make it, because they're going to need all the weapons they can get.
And obviously they were hoping Josh Dachshund would be a weapon this year, especially at wide receiver. As a fan, are you hoping he kind of, takes it easy and makes sure it completely heals, or do you want him see him on that field right away?
I hope Dachshund does whatever he has to do to get back on that field. And this is the thing that the Redskins going to miss, is a quick healing player like RG3. Because, see, that's the thing Redskins fans and management underappreciated, and you had a guy not only that kept his nose clean, but also the quick healing factor to work hard and get back to his teammates. And the Redskins don't have those kind of people, because when their injuries happen, they're just gone. They're done. But then the Redskins are like handicapped because they're dependent on that particular person to get them over the hump. And that's why you got to take good care and appreciate when you get players that can have quick healing and work hard to come back and play.
Spencer, when you look at this Redskins roster, which player do you think has, I guess, the most to improve on it in training camp here?
Well, I would have to say Kirk Cousins. He has a lot to work on and have to prove in his throwing accurately and deep balls downfield to Deshaun Jackson. And because we didn't see enough deep balls to their speedy receivers, they just throw one every blue moon. And now that Dachshund down, you're going to have to use all your fast guys like Ross. I mean, you had a lot of different people, a lot of speedy receivers, and the Redskins just leave them on the sidelines. They just can't depend on their regulars. They got to get all the young guys in there because if your big-time guys go down, you got to have backups that are good.
Going
Just
back
like other
to
teams, they utilize all their talent.
Spencer, going back to Cousins and your point on Cousins, it sounds like you're in the camp of you're happy the Redskins didn't lock him up to that long-term deal. I think you want to see him progress one more year.
I am happy they didn't lock him up because Redskins have a problem of making decisions, and the problem that keeps them down every year is quarterback and coach. Other teams that have succeeded always have coach and a quarterback, and everything else falls in place. Like when you had Joe Gibbs and you had Doug Williams, for instance, or Theismann, the different quarterback, but you always had Joe Gibbs. You see, that's the problem with the Redskins. You got to lock up the coach and quarterback just like the Patriots did, or just like Denver did, because you're not going to succeed if you don't know your quarterback or your coaches year after year.
Hey, really quickly.
So I'm glad they made that decision.
Quickly, on the defensive side of the ball, Junior Gillette gone again for another season with Achilles injury. Are you concerned that the Redskins don't have enough depth at that position? Are you hoping they maybe bring somebody in to fill that void?
I'm very concerned at that position because they've been off and on. One time the offense is good, defense bad. One time defense is sort of good and offense bad. They have to have somebody at defense. And they got to have people to take places of D. Hall and Kerrigan because they're not going to be around forever. Their time's going to come, and they got to build their team up. And Gillette don't look like he's going to ever play for the Redskins. I mean, that's just messed up. I mean, because I think he worked a little too hard. I was looking at his videos and watching his stride. I mean, it looked like he was marching and stepping too hard. That's probably what would have happened to him in camp. And he tried too hard and hurt himself or something. Because when I looked at the video, his stride was high and he was overdoing stuff, it looked like. And I'd go for the White Freeney. They gotta make a whole bunch of moves because people are going to go after them this year, like Carolina and Pittsburgh and all those teams. And Green Bay, they got to remember Green Bay. They coming for them too.
Yeah, they certainly have a tough schedule ahead, and I love that Dwight Freeney possibility. Syracuse grad, I'm a Syracuse guy. He's a veteran player. He still's got a big motor, played for Arizona last year, so we'll see if the Redskins make a move to fill that Junior Gillette void. Spencer, thank you again for calling. Well, just ahead, DC's other burgundy and gold team are world champs once more. The DC Divas are back in the house with some brand new hardware. Look at that beauty. Their story and your calls when Sports Talk continues in just a moment. Celebration is on, another championship for the DC Divas, and when you are responsible for creating 10 takeaways, people are going to notice. Congrats to those Divas for those individual awards and for another championship season. And we're joined now by the Defensive Player of the Year, linebacker SAathi Mojidi, and running back Kenyatta Grigsby from the world champion DC Divas. Ladies, thank you for coming in tonight. See some hardware here. Yeah. What was it like to bring another one back home?
It felt good. I mean, this is the third time for the Divas. This is the second time for me. Winning back-to-back championships. I believe we're the first team in the WFA to win back-to-back championships. So it feels good. It's amazing.
SAathi, it's always the hardest thing to do in sports is to repeat as champions. Everybody wants to knock you off. You had a target on your back all season long. How difficult was this journey, knowing you're going to get everybody's best shot because they want to beat the champs?
It was really difficult this year. We started off our season with, I think, a pretty big wake-up call, losing to Dallas Elite in our season opener. And I think that definitely was a huge wake-up call for us, and we, realized that we were, as you said, we are the champions, and people are going to come at us with their biggest and strongest game plan. So it was really tough.
SAathi, why do I have a feeling those ladies from Dallas don't particularly like the DC Divas too much?
It's probably because we managed to beat them, unfortunately, when it counted the most. Like I said, we lost to them in our season opener, and we, took the championship away from them not once but twice this year. So I feel like they don't like us too much.
And we're showing some SAathi highlights now. A linebacker for the DC Divas, actually Player of the Year for the league this year. I mean, talk about your performance a little bit this year and being named Defensive Player of the Year. What an honor.
I mean, it was great. It was definitely fun to, to have the game start clicking for me. I have a lot of great other defensive players around me who have made the game so much easier for me. Going against what I think is definitely the best offensive team in the country.
That helps.
2 or 3 times a week at practice definitely helps to, heighten your level of skill. Players like Kenyatta, Akima, Ashley Wissenot, Katrina Wilson, going against those type of players in practice, it almost makes games easy, if you will. So.
Kenyatta, one of the running backs on the team and the MVP of the championship game, getting that win over Dallas. Big performance, where they say big-time players step up in big-time games. You had a great game against Dallas in the championship game. Take me back to that game and what that whole performance was like for you.
Well, going into the game, I knew Dallas was going to be tough. They have a good run defense. I thought we were going to be passing more, but in the game, Ashley ended up getting hurt at the beginning of the game, so we had to depend on the running game more. Akima is my fullback. She just stepped up and had an amazing game. She made holes for me. The O-line made holes for me, and it just made it easy for me. So
now I think this is in the championship game. I think this is one of your touchdowns, right? Right up the gut.
Oh, that's actually a quarterback sneak. I think that's
sneak.
the game. No, that's going into
The second quarter.
the second quarter. Is the second touchdown? Okay.
Okay.
That was a quarterback sneak. So.
Well, nonetheless, 6 points is 6 points.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
So the game was interesting. I was looking at the box score against Dallas. You were down early. You came back, took the lead. Then you lost the lead and scored late in the fourth quarter to win the game. Roller coaster of emotions, wasn't it?
Yeah, going. The first 2 quarters for offense were pretty rough. We couldn't get it together. We kept making mistakes. O-line and the running backs just couldn't get it together. So defense held it together, and Dallas only scored 12 points. So even after our first touchdown, defense stepped up again. A special team stepped up, and they got was it a kick? It was
a fumble recovery off a kick.
Kick, yeah. So they gave us good field position, and we went down and scored again.
What to say about the resolve of these ladies being down 12-0 in a championship game? No panic whatsoever, was there?
It was slightly a little bit panic, but like you said, big-time players make big-time plays when it counts. So and that's what happened.
So, SAathi, from talking to some of the players earlier, it looks like you met President Obama during the spring. I mean, are we going to have another visit with the president here coming up with another championship?
I mean, that's the plan. If they'll have us, we're always super excited to go into the White House and meet whoever's in office. So that's the plan. If we get invited back, we'll definitely be there.
So what's next? The season's over, but I assume you ladies still train throughout the year. Talk about keeping your body prepared for another season. How does that all work now that the season is over?
I mean, I think for us, because, a lot of us have normal 9-to-5 day jobs, we do our best to stay in shape in the off season, working with some coaches who have, programs for us. But I think right now we're more than just a little over a week out. I think it's just a little bit of relaxation time right now.
Most definitely rest time for me.
And Kenyatta, has it sunk in yet that you're kind of back to back now that you're a week after the championship? Can you just look back and be like, wow, we did it again?
Yeah, it's really sinking in now. I mean, we made history, so it feels good. And it's really sinking in now. When we won initially, it didn't sink in initially, but now it feels good to be back-to-back champs.
All right, we're gonna take a little break here. Hopefully we get some phone calls for you ladies, and coming up we'll take your calls for the DC Divas, champions again. Our lines are open. Hit us up, 703-387-1020. Sports Talk Friday continues in just a moment. News Channel 8 is your home for DC United games this season. You can catch all the MLS action this Sunday when they host the Montreal Impact. Our coverage begins at 6 o'clock on Sunday, right here on News Channel 8. We're back with SAathi Mojidi and Kenyatta Grigsby from the world champion DC Divas, fresh off another championship, beating Dallas last weekend and Pittsburgh, their second straight championship. Never been done before in league history. Curious, how did you ladies get started playing football? When you think of football, obviously you think male-dominated sport, but hey, these ladies can play some football. How did you get interested and involved in the sport?
Actually, one of my friends, Melissa Washington, who plays for the DC Divas, I actually asked her, I was interested in playing flag football, and she was like, well, no, it's not flag football season, but I play tackle football. Would you like to play? And I was like, tackle? I don't know. And so she got me to come out to one of the tryouts, and I, made the team, and that was 3 years ago.
And you stuck with it. How about you, Kenyatta? How'd you get started?
Exactly the same way. I started out playing flag football. I wanted more contact, so I tried out I initially played for the Baltimore team. Tried out for the Baltimore team, made the team, played with them for a few years, and then came to DC.
Just love the hitting, love the physicality.
I love running over people, yeah.
Good. Well, we got a phone call. Let's hit the phone lines. Richard from Manassas, you're on with the DC Divas. How are you, Richard?
I'm doing fine, sir. I always enjoy y'all's show.
Thanks for watching.
Channel 8's my favorite channel. But congratulations, ladies. I'm glad you did get Dallas and kick butt.
Do you have any question for the ladies?
No, just tell them to keep up the good work. Keep up the good work.
Well, they appreciate the phone call. Thanks for calling, Richard. Have a good night. I mean, you do have a good following. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that really follow this team and support you guys. What's it like having that type of following from fans in this area, showing up to the games, supporting you on social media? Got to make you feel good.
Absolutely. I mean, it's great to be supported in anything you do, but especially when you're doing something that I don't think people expect women to do, females playing full contact tackle football. It feels really good to have the support of the community, as well as our coworkers, family, friends. It feels really good.
Kenyatta, there's always that stigma. Girls can't play football. But do you always feel like you're kind of fighting that stigma a little bit?
When I first started playing, I did. Now people have seen me play. I don't get that anymore. People know we can play. People see us YouTube videos. People come to our games, like you said. So I don't get that anymore. But
when you think about football, one of the hot topic debates right now is concussions. It's a physical sport. Do you ever worry about concussions and dealing with, maybe the after effects down the road in life?
Yeah, I worry about concussions. I worry about it just like any injury. I mean, it happens. It's football, so it happens. But that's the chance we take with playing the sport.
All right. Well, coming up, we'll get some final thoughts from our lovely guests when we put the wraps on this Friday edition of Toyota Sports Talk. Stay with us. Look at that chant.
You got to let me know. Should I stay or should I go?
Don't miss ABC 7 Sports Sunday on our sister station. This Sunday, we'll have the latest from Redskins training camp in Richmond, plus the rest of your weekend highlights. So join us for Sports Sunday on ABC 7 this Sunday night at 11:30. We're back with SAathi Mojidi and Kenyatta Grigsby from the world champion DC Divas, two-time champions of the league, never been done before. So now the challenge, can you make it a three-peat? How do you accomplish that one?
I mean, I think it'll be tough, but, I think we have a really good core group of people coming back, and our coaching staff. I think we have a really strong foundation, so that'll definitely help. It'll be tough, but I think we can do it again.
Kenyatta, what do you think? Three-peat on your mind already, or are you just still kind of savoring this one?
No, I'm kind of savoring this one.
Right.
It's not a three-peat on my mind just yet. Maybe later on down the line I'll think about it.
Why do I have a feeling Dallas might be in your way again?
I mean, that's a pretty safe assumption. You know, there's definitely a few other strong teams in the league, but they've definitely been our toughest opponent in a few years that we've had to face.
I love it. You think of the Redskins and their rivalry with the Cowboys. I mean, we got a little DC Divas and the Dallas Elite rivalry brewing here, huh?
Yeah, but it's on a championship level too.
That's good. Dan Snyder, cover your ears on that one. All right, ladies, thanks for joining us. Congrats again. It was a lot of fun. Well, that's it for this edition of Toyota Sports Talk. Thank you for joining us, and of course, the DC Divas. I'm Scott Abraham. Have a great weekend, and we will see you on Monday.